For better or for worse, every member of the Afton family is important to the lore of Security Breach. Yes, every member. William Afton, Michael Afton, the bite victim, Elizabeth Afton, and even Mrs. Afton. This is going to be my final FNaF Security Breach theory video, at least for now. So if you haven't already, then make sure you watch all my other Security Breach theories before you watch this one. I've made individual theories for each and every member of the Afton family, and in this video I'm going to talk about all those theories in one video. I'm going to try my best to tie up loose ends from those videos, talk about other things that I just didn't talk about, as well as answer the question of who the staff bot silo belongs to, and if Gregory really is a robot. So now, with all that out of the way, let's talk about the roles of every member of the Afton family in Security Breach.
My walls are carried forth by a darkness I can't see, 'cause every time I think it just turns on you and me.
I think it's only right to start off by talking about Michael and the bite victim, since I want to save the more important topics like Elizabeth and William for the end of the video. Mostly because I want to specifically talk about Elizabeth last because of a new idea I have for her storyline. And when I start talking about William, it is really going to tie into Elizabeth, so I want to save both of them for last. So Michael and the bite victim. Their roles in Security Breach are as Glamrock Freddy and Gregory. Gregory is a homeless kid just seeking refuge at the Pizzaplex. Throughout the Pizzaplex, there's many signs that someone is living there, possibly even multiple people. In the sewer, there's a small section with a few pieces of Chica merch and food. There's the room next to the Sun's room where Balloon World is. There's a room in the pirate ship in Kid's Cove, and of course there is Vanny's hideout. It seems like maybe multiple people live in the Pizzaplex. The Balloon World room is likely where the arcade conspiracy theorist stayed before maybe being dragged out and begging to play one more night. Who this person is unknown, but it seems like someone Cassidy would know, so it's possible it could be the spirit of the bite victim in someone's body or something like that. The pirate ship in Kid's Cove is likely where Gregory stays, because there he would have a good vantage point of the place to see when Freddy malfunctioned, and he would be able to hide inside him, leading to the events at the beginning of the game, with Gregory inside Freddy's room and Vanessa searching for him. Vanny's hideout clearly belongs to Montgomery Gator, so who does the one in the sewer belong to? Well, I think it belongs to the same person who was in the staff bot silo. In MatPat's final Security Breach theory, he theorized that the sticky note room definitively proves that Gregory is a robot. He even said it was a fact, which is just so wrong. I mean, sure, it's a possibility, but in absolutely no way is it a fact. But anyway, he thinks that the sticky notes are the Gregory robot learning how to speak and write and remembering the bite victim's past. Personally, I think the evidence for this is pretty strong, but the evidence actually also works if this room belongs to someone else, but I'll talk about that at the end of the video. While it is possible Gregory is a robot, I don't think he is. I do think Gregory is just a normal homeless kid, and in this game he only represents the bite victim. I think this ties into Step Closer as well. So, in this location, Michael's body is used as a host for Ennard after he is hit with the scooper and injected with Remnant. The Remnant in the Fun Times as well as the Remnant in the scooper is made up of the possessed endoskeletons of the FNaF 1 animatronics melted together, mixing the spirits together. The Remnant was split up though, so it was divided between the 3 Fun Times and possibly also Circus Baby, though that's kinda unlikely but still possible. And the rest was likely put in the scooper. Basically, since it's all split up, there's broken pieces of the souls inside the Remnant. If you are injected with Remnant, you go unconscious and nearly die, and you wake up in like some sort of Remnant dimension or world or something like that, and you could see all the broken up pieces of all 5 souls. We see this in the 4th closet where Carlton is injected with Remnant and is brought to the Remnant world where he sees all 5 missing children, and he also sees multiples of them, representing the pieces of the souls split up between multiple bodies. Carlton helps put the pieces back together and the multiples join back together. It's possible that this is what happens in the games. Michael, after getting scooped and injected with Remnant, helped put the pieces of the souls of the missing children back together, and just like in the books, after they do this, they keep Mike alive. This could even be the reason they kick out Baby and why William has to manipulate them in FNaF 6 and in Security Breach. The spirits are more sentient now, they remember, and 5 spirits is more powerful than 1. If Mike is Glamrock Freddy, and Freddy is referring to the Blob and the missing children when he mentions his friends, this could be the reason behind him believing the missing children are his friends. But anyway, sometime after 6th location, the bite victim attaches his spirit to Mike and sets a curse on him, and that curse was of course for the bite. In Step Closer, Pete, the Mike parallel, bullies his younger brother, leading to him getting a curse. Eventually, Chuck, the younger brother, forgives him, but the curse can't be broken until he goes back to Freddy's. But on his way to break the curse, he dies, and since he died while he still had the curse, when he was dead he could still hear and feel and see everything around him. I think all of this is what happens in the games to Mike. Michael bullies the bite victim, even accidentally killing him. The bite victim sets a curse on him, and Mike realizes he hasn't redeemed himself yet. He hasn't fully stopped William. So when FNaF 3 opens, he goes to finish the job. But since FNaF 3's location is not where the curse originated from, even though the bite victim forgives him when he goes to FNaF 3, Mike still has the FNaF 4 nightmares because the curse has lured in Shadow Freddy. We even see in FNaF 3 that Shadow Freddy is still attached to him, following him around as we see in this Easter egg. So Mike has to go back to Fredbear's to break the curse, and Henry's plan is to end it where it all began. The FNaF 6 building seems to be a repurposed Fredbear's Family Diner. In the final official and certainly canon Fazbear Fright story, the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza building is repurposed and the building is called Flo's Fabulous Eatery. When I was playing through FNaF 6, I saw that one of the sponsors is called Flo's Glossy Floss. Oh, hold up.
What?
In Find Player 2, the building that was built over Freddy's was called Flo's Fabulous Eatery.
What? Huh.
Ah, interesting.
I wonder if that's connected in any way. It might not
It might be.
But it might not be,
just
but it
be
could be.
Might just be an Easter egg reference.
Maybe. FNaF 6 and Find Player 2 are linked. What if Find Player 2 is trying to tell us that the FNaF 6 location is a previous building, just repurposed? While in Find Player 2 it is a Freddy's location, none of the Freddy's restaurants really fit the layout of FNaF 6, but Fredbear's kind of does. One thing I don't think anybody really thinks about is that William is helping someone put a costume on through the big red door in Fredbear's. But in that location, those red doors lead outside, but behind them is utter darkness, meaning that it isn't outside. The only way this could work is if there is a short hallway past that door which leads to another door, exactly like how we see in the FNaF 6 building in Security Breach. Also, FNaF 6 has a big red door just like Fredbear's. So anyway, after FNaF 3, Mike goes to FNaF 6 and that would have broken the curse, but he dies before it is broken. In Step Closer, when Pete dies, he still hears and sees and feels everything. So this tells us that this is what curses do if you die while you still have one. So maybe Mike was trapped down in FNaF 6, dead, but still trapped in his own body. His spirit wasn't set free. Vanny, though, brings Freddy down to clear the path to Afton, and while he's down there, he finds his own body, leading to Mike being able to possess Freddy, but he still has his curse, so he loses his memories. When he finally goes down to FNaF 6 again, the curse is broken, and that's why he remembers again. My point is, I think Gregory is a representation of the curse on Mike, and it makes sense as to the connections between Gregory and Step Closer, having a cut under his eye and having a mention of a cut on his arm. Like I've said in a previous video, I don't think Gregory really had a cut on his arm. I think this was just meant to be an excuse to get Gregory to go to the first aid station to hide from Vanessa. This line was also cut from the game, but the reason for that is Sony wanting this horror game about murdered children and a corpse in a bunny costume living with a piece of his soul in the form of a digital virus bring him back to consciousness to be super kid-friendly! Okay, first Sony ruins parts of Spider-Man 3, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and Venom. I mean, I love every single one of those movies, but come on. Sony added way too many elements that just didn't need to be there, and while I love those movies, all of them even, a lot of people think they're terrible, and now Security Breach has to be censored for some odd reason because Sony wants it to be kid-friendly. Newsflash, FNaF is not kid-friendly. But anyway, I think Freddy is Michael and Gregory is the bite victim, but not literally. I think Gregory is only a representation of the bite victim, and a representation of the curse set on Michael by the bite victim. But Gregory himself still seems to be a normal kid. But with that being said, it still is definitely possible, in my opinion, for Gregory to be a robot. I just don't think he is. But now, let's get into one that you'll probably think I'm crazy for at first, but just trust me on this one and pay attention to the points I am making. Mrs. Afton is in Security Breach. Again, hear me out. I think we all know at this point about the Afton table in the staff bot silo, And we know this is the Afton table based on the Ballora looking one having hair, implying this represents a human and not just an animatronic. And we know this would be Mrs. Afton because all the other characters line up. Elizabeth is Baby, for obvious reasons. Mike is the pizza server bot because he usually works at Freddy's locations, pizzeria locations. The headless one is Bite Victim, again for obvious reasons. And the magician one is Mangle. What? What the hell did I really just say the magician one is Mangle? What is wrong with me? And the magician one is William, but for slightly less obvious reasons. A lot of people for some reason think the magician one can't be William and therefore this is not the Afton family, but this is wrong. Let's turn back to the fourth closet. On one of the pages, William is explaining the concept of Remnant to Carlton, and he refers to Remnant as pixie dust, something commonly associated with magic. Quote,
"Best to put it into something you control to some extent. Of course, you can make something you control completely, with no will of its own. A car, a gun, a dancing robot. Boring. But one drop of pixie dust, and you can create a monster you mostly control. One with unlimited potential."
End quote. This could be the reason William is shown as a magician. So yeah, this is the Afton table. And it's strange because Mrs. Afton is represented as a human version of Ballora. And this heavily implies that Ballora was built based on Mrs. Afton. And it also makes it more possible that Mrs. Afton could also be possessed by Mrs. Afton. What is wrong with me? And it also makes it more possible that Ballora could also be possessed by Mrs. Afton. And while it is possible she is only a representation, Dance With Me seems to hint heavily at Mrs. Afton being a spirit in Ballora. The story is heavily associated with mothers, and the antagonist is Ballora, which is mighty suspicious. The interesting thing about Ballora in Dance With Me though, is that she acts a lot like Glitchtrap. She gets closer and closer every time Casey puts on the glasses, like how Glitchtrap gets closer every time you collect a tape. And at the end of the story, Casey, after getting tortured by the glasses, hands them off to someone else, and that other person seems to get possessed by Ballora. In FNaF VR, after being tortured by Glitchtrap and trying so desperately to destroy him, the beta tester position is handed off from Tape Girl to someone else, Vanessa, and she gets possessed by Glitchtrap. This is very interesting, but it's more interesting that Ballora is inside a pair of novelty glasses. Toward the beginning of Security Breach, we hear Dread Unit over the speakers saying the Pizzaplex is closing soon, so people should start going to the lobby and making their way out of the building. The interesting thing is, though, Dread Unit says that on our way out, we will get a pair of novelty glasses. Could this mean the Ballora glasses actually exist in-universe as well? Think about this. FNaF VR is a VR game in-universe, but the absence of Golden Freddy is a lore hint, because Golden Freddy is still around. A piece of Cassidy's soul is also in the game as the princess, and the one who says "it's me" in Curse of Dreadbear, and the rest of her soul is still in Ultimate Custom Night, torturing the part of William's soul that isn't Glitchtrap. The reason Glitchtrap exists is because circuit boards from Scraptrap were sent from Fazbear Entertainment to Silver Parasol Games, and they used these circuit boards to make the VR game. A piece of Afton's soul is put into the game and he manifests as a Glitchtrap. Since Cassidy is attached to William, she is also on the circuit boards and manifests in the game as the princess, later using this form to save Vanny. It is entirely possible, and most likely, that circuit boards were also taken from other animatronics, i.e. the Blob. It's very possible that circuit boards from Baby were put into another body, but I'll talk about that later. It's likely that the puppet is in the staff bots, and it's likely that Ballora could be inside the novelty glasses. Not only that, but like I said, Golden Freddy's absence from FNaF VR is important, so I don't see it as a coincidence that the only other character not to appear in FNaF VR in any form is Ballora. That's obviously not including the FNaF 6 animatronics because they aren't really important, but Ballora's absence is strange because all the other Sister Location animatronics are here. Funtime Freddy, Bonbon, Funtime Foxy, Baby, Ennard, hell, even Bonnet, Biddy Babs, and Mini Renas are in this game. Lolbit is even here. So where is Ballora? This seems to indicate that she, like Golden Freddy, is elsewhere. But that's not all there is to talk about regarding Ballora and Mrs. Afton. No, there's one other interesting thing about this. There are a lot of references to Ballora in Security Breach. The revamped Ballora music in the trailer, the return of Michelle Moss, the voice actor for Ballora, the Afton table showing Mrs. Afton as Ballora, the reveal of the story of Mrs. Afton in the CDs, and the mention of novelty glasses at the beginning of the game, clearly connecting to the novelty glasses from Dance With Me. But there's one final thing. Since it's been over 2 months since Security Breach released, you probably know all this already, but after 4 AM, Gregory goes looking for ways to destroy all the animatronics. Roxy has eye upgrades that can make her see certain things. When we upgrade Freddy with them, he can see collectibles, besides bags, even though the bags are the only things digital, which means they should logically be the only things we can see, but they're the only things we can't see. But anyway, this is FNaF, so it's not like logic can apply anyway. But whatever, my point is that before Freddy gets this upgrade, he is unable to see Vanny, but once he gets Roxy's eyes, he can see her. Roxy's eyes allow Freddy to see Vanny, just like how the Ballora glasses allow Casey to see Ballora. Both Ballora and Vanny are always physically there, but they seem to be using illusion discs, making them invisible without the glasses or the eyes. Not only that, but let's take a look at Roxy's mechanic after losing her eyes. They are the exact same as Ballora in Sister Location. Can't see, but uses sound to locate you. And I think that's all pretty damning evidence. My point here is that with all the references to Ballora and Security Breach, there is no way that she is still irrelevant, and if she is, then that's really weird. But now, the final 2 members of the Afton family, William and Elizabeth. William's story in Help Wanted, Special Delivery, and Security Breach is actually pretty simple, but it becomes a little less simple if you explain it in full. So, let's start from the beginning of Help Wanted. After the FNaF 6 fire, William was still functional. Obviously, he's still dead in the suit, but his body still works. The issue is that the fire broke him physically, so he needs someone to fix him. However, Cassidy is attached to him and makes him experience Ultimate Custom Night, but sometime later on, Fazbear Entertainment goes down and takes circuit boards from the animatronics. At this point, the Puppet, Molten Freddy, and Baby have already combined, so circuit boards are taken from the Blob and from Afton, and there is a piece of his soul attached to those circuit boards, and since Cassidy is attached to William, a piece of her soul is on the circuit boards as well. These boards are used to make the VR game, the piece of Afton's soul forms into Glitchtrap, and Cassidy forms as the princess. Glitchtrap uses his freedom to find a way to possess someone and make them go down to FNaF 6 and fix him, and that's what he does. He goes through Jeremy and Tape Girl, but they aren't successful because they fight back too much. So he gets to Vanessa, and she lets him in. She's still reluctant, but yeah, she lets him in. Glitchtrap gets her to work for Fazbear Entertainment, and she does. But when she does, she is manipulated by someone else. Patient 46, Elizabeth Afton in a new body, Eleanor, or at least an in-game version of Eleanor, using illusion discs to appear as a kid, going to the therapy sessions and killing the therapists that question her past. Eleanor is manipulating Vanessa. Vanessa is told to use Elizabeth's past as her own. Elizabeth's return is heavily implied by the likelihood of her being Patient 46, and it seems to be confirmed, or at the very least incredibly likely, because of the Eleanor-looking figure in the background of the final level of Security Breach Fury's Rage. In MatPat's final Security Breach theory, he said that Patient 46 being Elizabeth would have a few flaws, because Patient 46 doesn't like flowers, and she also hates being in Sister Location, while Patient 46 prefers being in a dark cave. However, there is a pretty good explanation as for why this is the way this is. First of all, we all know Elizabeth is obsessed with making William proud. The only thing suggesting Elizabeth likes flowers is the picture of a flower in her bedroom in FNaF 4. But it's entirely possible that William is the one who likes flowers, and he put the picture in her room. It's possible Elizabeth, because of her love for her father, just didn't object. As for Elizabeth hating being in Sister Location, that doesn't mean she wouldn't like to live in the dark. Elizabeth's problem with Sister Location is specifically that she despises being trapped. That doesn't mean she would automatically hate everything in the dark. Anyway, being manipulated by both William and Elizabeth, Vanessa's objective is to get the job at Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizza Plex, because underneath that is where William is trapped. So in order to do that without getting stopped by any of the animatronics, most importantly the staff bots, is by infiltrating the Fazbear systems using the glitch trap virus by manipulating a fellow Fazbear employee, Lewis, into giving her access to all the Fazbear systems. After that, she gets the job at the Pizzaplex and makes a costume to lure in and murder 9 children. These children possess a few of the Glamrock endoskeletons, which are later melted together to create Remnant. Vanessa goes down, uses Freddy to get to Afton, Michael possesses Freddy, Vanessa gives Afton the Remnant to regenerate some of his parts, rebuilds him using the endosskeleton of Glamrock Bonnie and FNaF AR Springtrap parts, and sticks him in a recharge station drawing power from the Pizzaplex. Then, it leads to the events of Security Breach and whatever comes after. But all that leaves us with one unanswered question. The Sticky Note Room. Who does the Sticky Note Room belong to? Well, if we look at the Sticky Notes, there's a consistent theme in them. Images of 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl, just like the Afton children. This heavily implies that the person in the Sticky Note Room is an Afton child, which is also basically confirmed by the Afton table also being in this room. However, the personality of this character doesn't really fit Michael Afton, so I think we can narrow it down. The character in the Sticky Note Room is either the bite victim or Elizabeth. But which one? Well, let's go through the sticky notes and look at all the evidence and try to figure out which Afton kid it could be. In MatPat's video, he said that the character in the sticky note room was most likely Gregory, which would prove he is a robot. And if it is Gregory, then yes, he is 100% a robot, but there's also a possibility that he isn't the one in that room. See, throughout the sticky notes, there are constant references to a birthday, so it makes sense to be the bite victim writing this, especially since one of the notes says, "all for me," which parallels one of the bite victim's lines in the logbook, "it was for me." But here's the thing, this birthday stuff also lines up if the character in the sticky note room is Elizabeth. One of Circus Baby's voice lines is,
"It feels like my birthday. Did you have a gift for me?"
Sure, the birthday stuff makes more sense if this is the bite victim, but it also does make sense if it's Elizabeth. As for the "all for me" line, this seems to be a reference to one of Elizabeth's lines in Sister Location.
Daddy just once let me go play with her. She's so pretty and shiny. Didn't you make her just for me?
The colors of red, green, blue, and yellow being on sticky notes matches with the colors of flashing on the lights during the bite, but it also matches with the colors on the top wall in the Circus Gallery control module from Sister Location. There's a sticky note mentioning ice cream, and that one has no correlation to the bite victim, but it does to Elizabeth, seeing as Elizabeth was lured in by Circus Baby using ice cream. And the biggest thing to suggest that this character in the sticky note room is Elizabeth is the fact that they are trying to reunite the family. And this includes William. Not only does the bite victim hate William, but Gregory literally tries to kill Burntrap when he sees him rather than try to reunite with him. Elizabeth, on the other hand, loves her father, and she would definitely be content to reunite the family, whether they accept that or not. But there's still other lingering things that just don't make sense if the sticky note character is Elizabeth. Why do we see a bear on a sticky note? Why do we see what looks like a Freddy or Fredbear plushie on another one? Those things fit better with the bite victim. But here's another thing that severely depends on what theory you believe for the bite victim. If you believe Golden Duo, then you most likely believe that the bite victim is the 7th victim that we see in multiple areas of the game. There's a 7th victim in Toy Chica the High School Years, a 7th grave in the Curse of Dreadbear, and 7 gravestones in the FNaF World Update 2 map. But one thing that was pointed out to me by Krakoa is that there's 6 graves together in FNaF World Update 2, but there's also a 7th scattered somewhere else on the map. And the interesting thing here is that the 6 that are all together are next to Purple Guy. This indicates that these 6 are all killed by Afton directly, but the 7th was actually not. The 6 are the main missing kids and Charlotte. The one outsider of the rest is either the bite victim or Elizabeth. If you believe Golden Duo, it makes more sense that the 7th victim is the bite victim, since the 7th victim is shown not to be killed directly by William, but there's also one of the Toy Chica prompts paralleling Midnight Motorist.
I told him to come over later. That should be enough. And if he doesn't show up, I'll just go to his house. And if he doesn't open the door, I'll just find a window.
The animatronic outside the window in Midnight Motorist is likely Shadow Freddy, a being made up of William Afton's anger, a being representing William and luring the bite victim, but not killing him, which lines up perfectly with FNaF World Update 2 and Toy Chica the High School Years. Here in the sticky notes, there's a sticky note that has 6 kids in the front and a 7th in the back. This would imply that the maker of these sticky notes is one of these victims, likely the one in the back, the 7th victim. But under Golden Duo, this would be the bite victim. But like I said, other things suggest the sticky note character being Elizabeth. But if you believe BV5th, the 7th victim would be Elizabeth, and things would line up. It would also basically have to be Elizabeth in the sticky note room, because under BV5th, the bite victim is the one you should not have killed, and absolutely despises William Afton, and 100% would not want to reunite the family if that includes him. So, is BV5th true? Is this Gregory, or is there some other explanation for this? I'm not sure, but let me know what you think in the comments. One more thing I want to mention is the little hideout in the sewers with the Chica stuff. Since this is in the sewers, and the staff bot silo is also in the sewers, it would make sense that these are from the same person, both from the sticky note character. If it is Elizabeth, it actually makes sense, because Chica is the only animatronic from the main 4 that is not in FNaF sister location. So it would make sense if Elizabeth was interested in Chica, so she has all the Chica stuff with her. This could be a little bit of a stretch, but it's something I just wanted to mention, and it's a little bit of a cool concept. But now, just one final thing to mention before we close the book on this series of Security Breach theories. The balloons. Yeah, balloons are the final thing to talk about. So, in Happiest Day, the balloons are there to represent the spirits getting set free, evident by how the balloons rise up as the masks fall and the kids are set free. So that basically means that there are 17 victims. That's because there are 16 total balloons in Happiest Day, and there is a 7th victim. Let's just say that for a second that the 7th victim is the bite victim. He is the spirit who receives Happiest Day, and since Cassidy is Golden Freddy and likely isn't the bite victim, she's not actually in Happiest Day, so she is separate. So the 16 in Happiest Day plus Cassidy, 17. So I don't find it to be a coincidence that if you count up all the balloons on different sticky notes, it adds up to 17. Here's an image of all the sticky notes together. There's 3 balloons along the right side of this image, a clump of 5 next to the 3 clumped together around the bottom middle. That adds up to 11. On the next image of sticky notes, we can find a balloon on the note on the top left corner, 1 around the middle of the second row, 2 on the second from the bottom on the far left, and 2 more second from the right around the middle row down. If this means anything is unknown, but it could be another reference to the sticky note character being one of those victims. So honestly, I think it's meant to be Elizabeth in there, but there's certain things that just don't completely add up. And the same thing goes if this is the bite victim. So I don't really have a 100% answer to give you guys. I say that you guys should just all look at the points yourself and come to a decision on your own. And honestly, that's how it should always be when it comes to theory videos. Don't believe everything I, or Ozone, or Underscore, or MatPat say just because we say it. Take the points and think about them, and come to a conclusion all on your own. But anyways guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, then please do leave a like and subscribe. Let me know if you agree with my theory, or if there's anything I missed out on, or left out. Even though this is the final Security Breach theory for now, I still do have other FNaF theories planned on sister locations placement in the timeline, the inconsistencies with FNaF 2's lore, and much more. So stay tuned for those, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys!